All right, we're gonna talk for a second. And this is one of the out of the blue videos. I have a full 100% Monk build from Monk. Everything on this gun is from Monk, except obviously like a hop up and stuff. It's got a retro arms hop up in it, but everything from this is Monk. You can see that color shift, like they like to say. It looks not great in person. It looks great on camera. I can tell right now from looking at my screen. It looks great on camera. Doesn't look very good in person. This is like the second or third one that I've seen that I've had to do work to. So I'm tired of it. I'm going to finally talk about it. So you guys stop buying these. It's not because I'm a direct competitor. It's not because any of those reasons. It is literally, I'm going to lay it out as if I was a player. I didn't own a custom shop, nothing about why you should not buy a $500 body. I have to check the exact price for them. But when they first came out, these Neo whatevers were like $700 with the rail. Just absolutely ridiculous. And I refuse to tell people to pay that. All right. Let's start with something super basic. If you want a selector, there's no lock for the selector, so you just bump that thing a little bit and you can be putting your gun back on safe. Not that a lot of us use levers. I was told that this is the mag catch that comes with it, and that's a piece of shit. I mean, for a gun that you're spending this much money on, when you buy it from them built, excuse me, it should have a max in it. It should have something that's worth a damn. Paint chipping. This gun has only been used one time on a turf field with air bunkers. And there are chips everywhere. And he told me that he didn't slide, he didn't do anything. And there's actually video of him using this gun where he didn't do any of that. He barely used this, and it's chipped up and just it looks, I mean, terrible for it being as new as it is. If this was 3 years old and this is how much damage it had, I'd be a whole different conversation right now. But how much damage is on this is not worth the price point. Monkey SG grips. I repainted mine, and mine's taken quite a bit of an abuse. I'm not saying once you start diving on stuff, paint's gonna come off, but he didn't even do that. Yeah, I mean, and the lower is not even really my problem. The upper is. So you guys can get a good look. I mean, that looks great, right? Looks awesome on camera, that color shift, but I want to show you guys something. So here's the back end. I am not applying much pressure, and I'm able to bend this, almost touching if I wanted to. Same thing with this middle section up here. I don't know how much, I'm barely touching this because I really don't want to bend it. I'm bending it. And the problem with not having a midsection is I have to get this rail off to do paint, right? I'm repainting and we're redoing this whole gun. So I want you to understand that. I cannot get this rail off because there is not enough metal for me to grab and twist this without bending this and snapping it in half. So now I have to come up with a new way to get the barrel nut off of this. I'm probably going to have to disassemble the whole rail to get to it, which you shouldn't have to do. Excuse me as I grab Allen key so I can kind of show this a little bit. You shouldn't have to do this. You should be able to pull your rail off unless it's locked. Unless like there is specifically a bolt locking it on. You shouldn't have to pull out Allen keys and stuff to get a rail off. You want it tight. I'm not saying that part's not correct. But to have to worry about your literal upper snapping in half and you having to take an extra 10, 15 minutes to ensure that you don't snap your upper, to me seems like a waste of time. Compared to how our bodies work, where you just have like maybe one locking screw, or you just twist it off. I mean, it's got enough pressure where it can screw on and stay there, and doesn't need this. I just think it's a bit ridiculous, what they're charging for these for what I'm seeing currently. I know this is gonna go up on the Carnage Airsoft one, or the Carnage Customs Airsoft one, and it's going to be taken as I am talking shit about Monk because they are my competitor. No, I am talking purely off being a player, and like that I didn't always own this shop. I didn't always do this, and for the price that they are charging for this, I wouldn't pay this. And I know there are a lot of kids that work for their money, or their parents are just very well endowed, where they're able to, get what they want, or a $700 body. It doesn't affect the same way that it affects others. And I think that's just crazy. So now I got the rail off. Got that off. There's their little rail that literally sucks because you can't do anything with it because there's no slotting for M-lock, key mod, or even just like able to drill into it. No. And now we've got this big ass barrel nut that's 3D printed that is like glued on here. Now keep in mind, I believe that this gun came assembled to my client. So they wrenched this fucker on there, and now I can't get it off. And now to go back and paint or do any correction work to this, I don't know what I'm going to do with that barrel nut. Because there's no, I might be able to get my AR wrench in there, and I'm not going to stop to grab it. I'm not going to stop the video or walk away from you guys to grab that. But there's almost no way I think I'm getting that barrel nut off. So that's going to have to be a call to the client. Let's see if I can get this back cap off. No, we're switching. Oh, that's another thing. Okay, I have one set of Allen keys here. These are all metric. We're gonna grab now Imperial keys because apparently they switched what screw they're using to not be consistent here. Yep. So now, as you guys can see, I had to grab from the other set. They're not using the same screws all the way around on their body, so you have to switch between Allen key sizes instead of using similar Allen keys. I'm not even talking like they have to be the same size all the way around, but at least make them all metric or all standard. Like, it's insane to me that they're not. If one thing has to be standard in terms of an Allen key, make it standard, or make it a Phillips, for God's sake. Everybody's got a Phillips head. You know what else sucks about these bodies is they shave this fucking thing down to like centimeters, so you can't use a buffer tube, you can't use anything else. This body pretty much has to be a Euro, or use their proprietary drop stock parts to put a stock on it. That is ridiculous. It's insane. And everybody's just cool with this. It's just how Monk is. You know how many times I've heard that? I think that's shitty. And I know I've rambled just a little bit, but it is just quite it's quite depressing knowing that there are 3 or 4 kids that I know specifically that have one of these and really didn't like it, and I had to do a bunch of work to it, and that just sucks because I obviously, no matter what, I want somebody to have a good experience with their rifle. I mean, like, especially when you're paying as much as this gun costs. And I'm not going to throw a number because even though the client did tell me, I'm not going to open his business to everybody in the world on YouTube. But I will tell you that you can go on Monk's website and you can look at how much it is to put a fusion engine in one of these Neo bodies with a grip, and a full rail kit. And you can do the math. And I'm not saying that in a mean way. It's just the truth about how insane the price of these things are for what you are getting. And as I sit here and tear this down, I find more and more issues with it. Every time I remove a screw, I'm finding issues. And they're not ones that the client did. They're not ones. This thing came in a box, pre-built. I mean, I have the box here. It is ginormous. And it comes with the Euro grip on it. Comes with the engine in it. Comes with everything. And it is quite insane to me that this all is how it is. Client has a Gorilla FCU in here. At least it's good to see that they fit. I mean, I have a Monk grip, so I know they fit, but you understand what I'm saying. It's a good thing to see that Monk actually took the time to give a shit about that. There's going to be a lot of swearing in this video, so if you're around your parents, I apologize. I'm a builder, swear like a sailor, so I apologize ahead of time for that. But I'm doing just a little bit of work to get these apart, just so I can kind of show you guys how flimsy the lower is without the engine in it. Because keep in mind, the engine gives that body a lot of stability. And I'm not saying that it doesn't. And that might be why these bend so much, is because they're betting on the engine being in it. But when it comes to doing things in terms of tearing down parts and, just general maintenance to these guns, it is quite insane to me, the level of I don't give a shit in design process. And I know that Monk has been very involved with some people over here in the States, and I'm not going to name names of people that I've talked to that are well aware of these issues and are are complacently fine with the theory of the customer will buy what we put out. And I don't want to throw people under the bus that are not Monk, because I'm waiting to see what they do. But I do know about 3 companies that right now would willingly put out a bad product and will field complaints as a I don't know why that could possibly be happening to you, that kind of thing, knowing full well it shipped with that issue, knowing full well that was an issue. Excuse me. That was an issue that the gun shipped with, or the thing shipped with, and they're more than willing to just take your money instead of actually fixing it. Got the Euro grip off. And to me, that's just plain insanity to purposely do that. But I mean, I'm finding out it's a lot more common in certain companies. It's a lot more common. We've heard a lot more. And they blame it on, Airsoft's got pop metal, Airsoft's got shitty parts, and that's, instead of making good parts, they're relying on that statement, which I think is absolutely terrible. But I know that I kind of felt that was something that would come in Airsoft eventually with all these companies, and that's kind of why I do what I do. But pins out. Should be able to just pull the engine here. What is hooking you in? There we go. Okay. Fusion engine. Woo! Out. Apparently the plate didn't want to stay either. Didn't want to stay around. That's what dropped, which is the fusion engine plate. Alright, so let's talk. It's just the body. Nothing helping her out, right? Nothing. Let me put all these pins in real quick. Nothing in there. And I can literally flex this inward. So if I grab right here, I can flex that in. This magwell cuts can literally all flex independently. I know it's not showing up very well on camera. This one's actually pretty sturdy. I'll give it this. These front ones seem to be attached still pretty well. Yeah, I just can't get behind these guys. I mean, to each their own. Not even because they're my competition, just because they're just made bad. And I can't get behind something. So if anybody was here looking for a Neo opinion, that's my Neo opinion. And so I stopped the recording because I actually did break something there. And this is proving my point even further. That right there, snap just from me grabbing right here. My hand may have just barely been resting here, and I pulled. There is no way that should break like that, trying to just get a barrel nut off. That means this is never coming off. Once they put this on and did whatever they were going to do by 3D printing it, this is not coming off of here. And I can fix this just to get this gun working again for the client. I already texted him. He's fine with it because he expected something to happen of that sort when I went to take the barrel nut off. But this is exactly why you should not be buying Monk's products. They do not care about you. And if I were to text Monk right now and be like, hey, this just happened while I was trying to replace my carbon barrel or my barrel nut or anything, they would tell you to bite it, sit and spin. That's exactly what they'd tell you to do. And I can't get behind that in terms of a client. So in terms of being a custom shop, and that's how you speak to your clients. And I know because I used to have a Monk body before I owned Carnage, and that's what prompted me to start Carnage, is that they did not care about their clientele.
One day later.
Day 2 of the Monk Neo. I did step away from the camera, obviously, for the rest of the day, trying to figure out what we are going to do. Um, and I came up with some answers. Obviously, talked to the client a bit more exclusively. I had just texted him very, very fast that something just happened, and I actually sent him the clip of my face when it broke. I want to clarify about three things about all that since last night. After watching it, I really, even though my face changes, I'm not really putting that much pressure. Honestly, I would say that I use more pressure to open a bottle than I did this. Um, and that's crazy to me. We did confirm with the client that he wants us to weld it back. So we are going to weld it right back on, and we're going to go from there. In terms of getting the barrel nut off, I actually reassembled the whole gun just to give the body more structure and tried to rip it off, and it still didn't come. The barrel nut is on there. Um, and I'm not. I was wary of how much force I was putting on there due to what happened last night. So there's not really a good option for me as a way to get this off currently. So we're gonna be kind of going from there. But my opinion on the Neo, even after talking last night with the client, and kind of some of the things that they had told me about um, how this how this all came to be. Um, don't buy one of these. Save your money. You don't even have to buy from me. Like I'm not even saying like screw this, buy from Carnage. No, I'm saying get something that won't do that. I mean, for this to snap from me trying to actively get the part off, which I mean, some people are gonna be like, "Oh, why didn't you have the body all assembled and try and take it off?" Because I never do that. I never have to do that. Pretty much with any body inside of airsoft, I don't have to. I mean, I could grab my gun off the wall in my other room and literally show you that I can just go and pull mine apart. So it's insane to me that that just happened. Um, is it hindsight 2020 that I should have probably left the engine in for the first try and put the upper on it and everything? Yeah, yeah, it is. Um, but I just didn't think I would have to do that. I thought that we would have enough structurally sound parts. So, um, yeah, I'm kind of blown away by quality. I'll actually give it that. After last night, I did a little bit more inspecting on the lower just to make sure if there was any weak points, I avoided them. Um, there's not too many, like I said previously earlier in this video. This top part moves, but not enough. I think they left enough metal on this lower here for me to say that this is okay. Um, the uppers where they lose me, but the problem with this is nothing fits this. Like I can't switch out the upper for anything unless I were to 3D print a carbon for it. We're just gonna go from there because I think that upper's gone. I mean, I think I'm gonna be able to weld it back, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get that nut off. I think I'm going to be able to make it so it will go back on the gun, but we are still proceeding forward with painting this. So, at least this lower. So, I'm going to have to do a little bit of extensive work here, or I'm going to have to concur with the client a little bit more. The client's very cool. One of my buddies, so he understood. He told me ahead of time that I'm probably gonna break it if I wasn't super careful. And even being super careful, like I said, like I didn't apply much pressure purposefully, and it still snapped. You can hear it in the video. I actually went back and looked. I'm gonna put probably some graphics over that. I don't know, but that's crazy. That's insane. The amount of pressure. Literally, I probably use more pressure opening up a bottle. I mean, it's on tight. That wasn't on very tight, but yeah. I mean, I didn't even really wrench on it too much. Yeah, so obviously this is probably going to be all one video of just the immediate teardown and my thoughts. I will come back with what we end up doing to the body later on. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for sticking around for the whole video. Hope you enjoy watching me destroy a Neo. Um, Hindsight's 2020. Peace out, guys.